Hello, my name is Alexander Resto, and this is my presentation on my article, which is titled, Does the End Justify the Means? The Role of Organizational Communication Among Work-from-Home Employees During the COVID-19 Pandemic. The article was based on a Italian research study conducted during the early phase of 2020. This was during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, primarily in Italy. And essentially, it measured mandatory remote working during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the related concerns for employees working remotely, which included techno-stress and psychophysical disorders. Research for the study looked at 530 workers in Italy who had to transition to work from home during the early part of 2020, during the first phases of quarantine and the COVID-19 lockdown in Italy. The study was conducted through the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, based out of Italy. The study looked at several factors among the 530 remote workers. One of the factors that the study looked at was techno-stress, which can include feelings of overwhelming anxiety resulting from technological overload. This can include multitasking, information overload, social stress and pressures, constant learning, as well as technical problems for individuals who had to transition from the traditional office setting to remote work from home. Workers during the COVID-19 pandemic in Italy had to reorganize their work processes. This included learning new technologies and rearranging long-distance relationships. In this instance, management as well as organizations had to rethink the way they communicated with their workers now that they weren't in a traditional office setting. The study showed that organizational communication is positively associated with self-efficacy. Self-efficacy being defined as self-confidence in one's ability to accomplish and succeed in organizational tasks. The study looked at, again, 530 remote workers in Italy, confirming the role of communication in the organizational processes and its role in the management of stress. It also showed that communication is vital in decreasing stress from the use of technology. Again, this was a radical paradigm shift from the traditional office setting to the new remote work setting for organizations. The study showed that organizational communication is critical in reducing techno-stress and psychophysical disorders. It highlighted the key role that organizational communication plays in enhancing self-efficacy among remote workers, and organizational communication can be seen as an instrument to safeguard health and prevent discomfort. Organizational communication, in this instance, helps individuals by helping employees understand the meaning of stressors, understanding the risks of always being connected, helping organizations understand the potential risk of work from home technology, while also communication and job design being critical in a healthy organizational culture. In terms of human resource development, organizations must learn to monitor the internal satisfaction of communication by employees. Information for these employees must be readily available and retrievable by those working remotely. Organizations must also accurately survey information needs, avoid information overload, and efficient organizational communication must lead to productivity while working remotely. In the new paradigm of the post-COVID-19 era, organizations must ensure that communication is frequent, transparent, and consistent. They must provide support for employees' well-being, keep remote teams engaged, and be mindful of the paradox of work-life balance in the pandemic. Communication and remote working in terms of human resource development. Communication is vital for remote work teams. Most individuals see an associated benefit with remote working, which includes the flexibility of schedules, being able to work from anywhere, time at home with family, being able to have the flexibility to finish tasks at home, as well as other factors. Organizations, however, must monitor potential risks, which the study identified as technostress, isolation, and the effects that it can have on employees' physical and psychological well-being. Organizations must effectively manage the communications process through 5 means. The first being get the right channel mix, which includes the right technology for its workers. This can include Microsoft Teams as well as other technological video conference formats now available. They must also create a clear remote work communications plan that ensures that communications are effectively spread out and not overwhelming to the employees or a particular audience. They must be proactive in remote communications. Incorporate online video chat activities to break up the seriousness of work, and while also serving as good forums to place greater emphasis on CEO and leadership communications, among other factors. Organizations must also ensure open lines of communications and get feedback from their employees. This two-way form of communication is critical to ensure that employees remain actively engaged and productive in their day-to-day work tasks. Organizations must also track engagement religiously, which could include the use of engagement surveys. Lastly, for employees must also develop appropriate work from home habits, which includes having the right equipment, designating an appropriate space for your work, setting yourself with appropriate working hours, and getting structure in place so that your day-to-day work from home is as similar to the office as possible.